Unit 95. Past tenses, retelling stories. So, we have a few examples. When I arrived home, she had cooked dinner. Number 2. When I arrived home, she was cooking dinner. And number 3. When I arrived home, she cooked dinner. What's the difference between the sentences? Каква е разликата между тези изречения? Определено има такава. Let's have a look at the first sentence. When I arrived home, she had cooked dinner. Когато се прибрах, тя беше приготвила вечеря. Сега, дефиницията, която ние знаем за минало перфектно време, е едно действие преди друго действие в миналото. Тоест, по принцип, перфектно време изразява едно завършено действие към момент, в нашия случай в миналото. Number 2. When I arrived home, she was cooking dinner. Когато се прибрах, тя готвеше. She was cooking dinner. The past continuous tense. Минало продължително време. На практика поставя действието в една продължителност и имаме едно действие по време на друго действие. Когато се прибрах, тя готвеше. Тук имаме изключително добър еквивалент в българският език. Минало несвършено време. Number 3. When I arrived home, she cooked dinner. Когато се прибрах, тя приготви вечеря. Идеята тук е след това. Well, here we have a text. A really nice one. So, let's read. Mrs. Jones was over 80, but she still drove her car like a woman half her age. She loved driving very fast and boasted of the fact that she had never, in her 35 years of driving, been punished for driving offense. Then, one day, she nearly lost her record. A police car followed her, and the policeman in it saw her pass a red light without stopping. When Mrs. Jones came before the judge, he looked at her severely and said that she was too old to drive a car, and that the reason she hadn't stopped at the red light was most probably that her eyes had become weak with old age, so that she had simply not seen it. When the judge had finished what he was saying, Mrs. Jones opened her big handbag she was carrying and took out her sewing. Without saying a word, she chose a needle with a very small eye and threaded it at her first attempt. When she had successfully done this, she took the thread out of her needle again and handed both the needle and the thread to the judge, saying, "Now it's your turn. I suppose you drive a car and that you have no doubts about your own eyesight." The judge took the needle and tried to thread it. After half a dozen attempts, he had still not succeeded. The case against Mrs. Jones was dismissed, and her record remained unbroken. Now, can we try and retell this story? I know that sometimes we have unknown words. We always have unknown words. The idea is to say what you understood. Така, вижте, когато се опитваме да преразкажем една история, понякога нас ни притеснява това, че доста често имаме непознати думи. Винаги има непознати думи. Идеята е да се опитаме и да изразим с наши думи това, което сме разбрали. So, this is a story about an old lady, yes? What can we say about her? She loved driving very fast. And she had never had a punishment for driving offense. But one day something happened. What was it? A police car followed her, okay, because she hadn't stopped at the red light. Then, before the judge said that her eyesight was the reason, okay, and actually she hadn't seen it. But the old lady did something. What did she do? She took out a needle with a very small eye and threaded it at her first attempt. Then she gave both the needle and the thread to the judge and said, "Now it's your turn." And what did the judge do? Actually, she couldn't thread the needle. And this is how the case against Mrs. Jones was dismissed. Now, we have a really nice exercise there, and we have to fill in some words from the text. To speak with pride, the first one here, yes. Okay. What was the word? Do you remember? To boast. Yes. To boast. Хваля се. Number 2. To cause to suffer for offense. Well, this is a verb. To punish. The next one, number 3. A public officer authorized to hear and determine causes in a court of law. Well, a judge. Yes. Okay. Number 4. Very harshly. Do you remember? Okay, the judge looked at her severely. Yes. Okay, severely. Строго в нашия контекст. Number 5. The work of a person that sews. Sewing. Okay. To give. Okay, there was something. She gave both the needle and the thread to the judge, but the word was different. Okay, she handed. To hand. Yes. Number 7. Uncertainty. Well, there was something like, and you have no doubt. Okay? Doubt. Съмнение. Съмнявам се. Също. Okay. Number 8. The ability to see. Eyesight. Зрение. Eyesight. Effort. Well, the word there was attempt. To make an attempt, да направя опит. Okay. And number 10, an action of law. What was the word there? Her case was dismissed. Case. Well, that's it. Well, we have a story again. Richard Kълsън was one of the most notable figures in our town. He was a shrewd and wealthy businessman, but the ordinary people didn't know much about this side of his life. We knew him as Dickie, and his eccentricity had become legendary long before he died. Dickie disliked snobs intensely. Though he owned a large car, he hardly ever used it. He preferred to walk. Even when it was raining heavily, he refused to carry an umbrella. One day he walked into an expensive shop. It had started showering. He wanted to buy a 300-pound fur coat for his wife. But he looked so wet and shabby that the assistant refused to serve him. Dickie left the shop without saying a word and returned carrying a large cloth bag. As it was extremely heavy, he dumped it on the counter. The assistant asked him to leave, but Dickie paid no attention to him and requested to see the manager. Recognizing who the customer was, the manager apologized and reprimanded the assistant severely. After Dickie had chosen the fur coat, he gave the assistant the bag. It contained 300 pounds in penny coins. He asked the assistant to count the money before he left. Now, once again, let's try and retell the story. Firstly, what are the facts? We have a strange man, a rich man, a wealthy businessman. Yes? Okay, but the ordinary people didn't know much about that. Yes? So they called him Dickie, and he didn't like snobs. He had a large car, but he didn't use it. He liked walking. Yes? One day he decided to buy a coat. What kind of coat? A very expensive one. He decided to buy a coat that cost 300 pounds. Yes? So he walked into a shop, but it had started raining. Yes? So he looked really shabby, wet and shabby. Okay? So the assistant there refused to serve him. He didn't want to serve him. Yes? So Dickie left. He left the shop and came back again. But he was carrying a large cloth bag. Yes? A very big bag. Yes? It was really heavy. Yes? So he left it on the counter. Yes? And, okay, he requested the manager. He wanted to see the manager. Recognizing who the customer was, the manager said sorry. He apologized and reprimanded, okay, the assistant severely, which means what? He told him off. To tell somebody off means to reprimand. Така, много хубав израз тук. To reprimand, укорявам, да се скарам на някой, също като phrasal verb, to tell off. Okay? So, he told him off. So, after Dickie had chosen the fur coat, yes, he gave the assistant the bag, and what? He asked him to count the money. It contained 300 pounds in penny coins. Okay? So, now, once again, we have some words. Okay? Find the words in the text which mean distinguished. Well. He was a notable figure. Yes, notable, distinguished, which means what? Okay, виден, бележит, така, човек, който по някакъв начин се отличава, т.е. once again, notable. To hate, to dislike, to possess. What was the word? He owned. Yes. To rain heavily. The word there was, it had started showering. To shower. Number 5, ragged in dress and appearance. The word there was shabby. Okay. To ask politely. He requested. Okay. Okay, to request. It's like a verb. Yes. To reproach. Another word which means to reprimand. Okay. Okay. To say sorry, the word there was to apologize. Okay. Number 9. To include in an area or volume. To contain. Yes, to contain. Съдържам. Съдържа. Okay, the bag contained. Okay, 300 pounds. In penny coins. Yes. Okay, and number 10, not to agree. Okay, what was the word there? Actually, to refuse. He refused to serve. Okay, the customer. Okay, so well, so that's it. Our next exercise, fill in shabby, dislike, refuse, contain, apologize, reprimand, attempt, doubt, eyesight, boast. So these were words from our stories. Now let's see. Number 1, my grandfather's is getting worse with old age. What word can we use here? Eyesight. Yes. She looked so and poor in her old clothes that nobody recognized her. So definitely the word here is shabby. Yes. Okay. Number 3, the children, young children, often to eat their food. Young children don't like eating their food. Yes, sometimes. Okay, but the meaning here is actually they often refuse to eat. Okay, so refuse I think sounds really good. Okay. So young children often refuse to eat their food. Number 4, she was very proud of and with her granddaughter's success. Well, the word there is boast. Okay. And boasted. Okay, with her daughter's success in the past tense, yes, because she was very proud and boasted. She was very proud of and boasted with her granddaughter's success. Number 5. I have no that I have an excellent mark. I have no doubt. It's a nice expression. Наистина е хубаво да се постараем да запомним думите в фрази. I have no doubt. Нямам съмнение. Okay? Okay, number 6. The box is heavy. Do you know what it is? What is there in the box? Okay? So, do you know what there is in the box? What it contains? Yes? Yes, third singular S. Number 7, I, for being so rude and aggressive last time, apologize. I'm sorry. Well, this is the meaning. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yes? To apologize for something. To be sorry for something. Yes, pay attention. For something, for doing something, for being so rude. Така, внимание върху предлози и начинът, по който се използват думите. Наистина, имайки нови думи, старайте се да запомним начинът, по който те се използват. To apologize for something, for doing something. Here, we have the verb to be, so I apologize for being so rude. Number 8. I advise you to make an attempt to behave yourself. Okay? Number 9. Some really stupid people. Dislikes. Yes. He doesn't like. He hates. Okay, we need an S here. He dislikes stupid people. Number 10. The mother had children for the broken window. Reprimanded. Okay. Well, that's it. Now we have a really nice text there. So, listen to the text. The report came to the British on May 21st, 1941. The German battleship Bismarck, the most powerful warship in the world, was moving out into the Atlantic Ocean. Her task: to destroy the ships carrying supplies from the United States to war-torn England. The British had feared such a task. No warship they had could match the Bismarck in speed or in firepower. The Bismarck had 8 15-inch guns and 81 smaller guns. She could move at 30 nautical miles an hour. She was believed to be unsinkable. However, the British had to sink her. They sent out a task force headed by their best battleship Hood to hunt down the Bismarck. On May 24th, the Hood found the Bismarck. It was a Maytag that the German commander, Lutens, did not want to see. His orders were to destroy the British ships that were carrying supplies, but to stay away from a fight with British warships. The battle didn't last long. The Bismarck's first torpedo hit the Hood, which went down, taking all but 3 of her 1,419 men with her. But in the fight, the Bismarck was slightly damaged. her commander decided to run for repairs to France, which had at that time been taken by the Germans. The British force followed her. However, because of the Bismarck's speed and the heavy fog, they lost sight of her. For 2 days, every British ship in the Atlantic tried to find the Bismarck, but with no success. Finally, she was sighted by a plane from Ireland, trying to slow the Bismarck down so that their ships could catch up with her. The British fired at her from the air. The Bismarck was hit. On the morning of May 27th, the last battle was fought. 4 British ships fired on the Bismarck, and she was finally sunk. Now, we have some questions, and let's see there. Question number 1. The Bismarck sailed into the Atlantic Ocean. So the answers are: to sink the hood, to gain control of France, to cut off American supplies to Britain, to stop British warships reaching Germany. Well. What do you think? To sink the hood, definitely. I don't think this was that. Actually, that was the main idea. Let's see. Okay. The German battleship Bismarck, the most powerful warship in the world, was moving out into the Atlantic Ocean. Her task to destroy the ships carrying supplies from the United States to war-torn England. So definitely the answer is to cut off American supplies to Britain. Pay attention. A nice phrasal verb to know. To cut off. Okay? Cut off. Наистина един много хубав phrasal verb. Да прекъсне, да отреже. Така, в един доста по-преносен смисъл. Смятам, че в контекста е ясно. To cut off American supplies to Britain. Okay? So, number 2. Many people believed that the Bismarck could not be defeated because she was fast and powerful, had more men on board, was under Lutzon's command, had bigger guns than other ships. Well, it was fast and powerful, definitely. It had bigger guns than other ships, definitely. Well, but what can we say there? Let's see. Okay. No warship they had. Okay, no warship the British had could match the Bismarck in speed or in firepower. And then we have, okay, the Bismarck had 8 15-inch guns and 81 smaller guns. Okay, I think definitely the answer here was fast and powerful. Okay, so generally it gives everything that was said there. Okay, so number 3, Lutyens tried to sail to France in order to have the ship repaired, join the other Germans, get help from the French, get away from the British. Well, let's see. Well, her commander decided to run for repairs to France. Okay, which means what? To have the ship repaired. Okay, to have the ship repaired. Definitely this is the answer. Pay attention, a nice expression. Okay, to have something done when somebody else is doing something for us. Yes, to have something done. Like to have the ship repaired. Okay, number 4. Which of the following is the immediate cause of the sinking of the Bismarck? Okay, be careful. The British air strikes. Okay. The damage done by the hood. Gunfire from the British warships. Lieutenant's decision to run for France. Now, let's see. The British airstrikes, definitely. They had actually an important influence there. But let's see the other answers. The damage done by the hood. Gunfire from the British warships. But here we're talking about the immediate cause. Yes, the immediate cause, which means what? Okay. The immediate cause, непосредствената причина. Okay, в нашия случай би трябвало да кажем gunfire from the British warships. So in our case, we should say here gunfire from the British warships. So this is the immediate cause. Okay? So that's it.